Today on Third Rate Content, we're going to be finding out about the lepers of Shrewsbury. Awful thing, but if you want to find out about it and Brother Cadfael and everything connected with it, keep watching Third Rate Content. So welcome back to Third Rate Content. Today we are going to be going right back in time to the 1140s and 1150s as we take a walk through Shrewsbury on the sort of Brother Cadfael trail, the medieval sleuth by the author, created by the author Ellis Peters. She wrote the books from the 1970s until her just before her passing in 1995. And we're going to have a good walk through a couple of areas that we have been to on Third Rate Content quite a while ago. And also we're going to be visiting a church that we have never visited on Third Rate Content, St Giles's Church on Wenlock Road, which was the site of the Leper Hospital of Shrewsbury. We'll be finding out all about that. And there is part of the church of St Giles is still an actual physical wall that was there in the days of the Leper Hospital, in the days of the fictional character Brother Cadfael. But obviously Ellis Peters was a very good historical author, and most of the details in Brother Cadfael were very historically accurate. So we'll be finding out a bit through Brother Cadfael's eyes, who was played by it was Derek Jacobi. I did know that already. And previously there's been two adaptations, and the other adaptation was played by Philip Maddock. I didn't even know about that one till just now, so I just read it on Wikipedia. But anyway, we'll be taking our tour, starting at here, the site of the former Gay Meadow, and what was actually known as the Gay in the days of Brother Cadfael. So buckle up and I'll see you out here. The Gay Meadow would have been right here, the sort of riverside sort of stand would have been sort of there. Or we could even be sort of standing on it actually, and the pitch would have been where the buildings are. So that was in the days of the Gay Meadow football ground. And as you can see, we are walking here, wherever that may be, which was the aptly named Riverside stand back when this picture was taken, I imagine in the 1990s, or any time up to 2007, because that's when they sold the stadium and knocked it down. It was all orchards in the days of Brother Cadfael down here. And you'd have just had the Abbey's second mill just up here, because it did have two. But this whole area was known as the Gay, in Gaye in medieval times, and obviously that's name carried on. But we're in the Abbey Gardens now, but this again would have been orchards and herb gardens and vegetables and soft fruits and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, as well as being a pleasure ground for not that monks had pleasure, it was just the Gay. Pleasure ground came later. Yeah, because when the Gay got left to the public, it was left on the provision that it was remained as a pleasure ground that was open to the public. Yeah, there were wooden jetties down here on the River Severn in the times of Brother Cadfael, and there would have been stuff like that in the real life medieval period. Of course, there was a well-used riverway up the River Severn up to a point. Brother Cadfael was a Benedictine monk. The order was formed in 529 AD, and its founder was Benedict of Nursia, and it was founded at Sabacchio Abbey in Italy. Yeah, Brother Cadfael was the series, the Cadfael Chronicles, was the first, credited as one of the first historical fiction pieces or series. But the actual character Cadfael was a monk at Shrewsbury Abbey, but he wasn't your everyday monk, if there's such a thing as an everyday monk. I'm sure they all had stories, but he was a well-travelled former soldier, captain of a ship, I suppose one of the cogs they had in the medieval times. A cog was a ship, is a Lego interpretation of one for you. It was really hard getting a decent image, to be honest. And a crusader, he'd been to the Holy Lands, so he was well travelled and very worldly, and he used this to help solve the crimes, the many crimes and mysteries that happened in Shrewsbury and around the area, in the well-read and much-loved books. Yeah, Brother Cadfael's time was actually from the years 1137 to 1146. And it was during the reign of King Stephen, and it was the time of anarchy, it was called, in England, and it was the contest between King Stephen and Empress Matilda, who was also known as Empress Maud, and it brought a lot of trouble and warfare to the country at that time. You can see the Reebrook just glimmering through the foliage there today. That's about the best view we're going to get on today's walk. Because Shrewsbury Abbey was granted the exclusive milling rights to the Reebrook in Shrewsbury in 1083, only 20 years after the conquest. But this actually did cause a lot of bad feeling in Shrewsbury over the years, because they had it obviously right up to the Reformation. And this area would have been the guest house in Brother Cadfael's time. In the 1100s, this area would have been the infirmary where Brother Cadfael would have applied his extensive knowledge of injury and medicine. And like so many abbeys and monasteries, post-Reformation, post-Henry VIII, these places are left ruins, broken ruins, and we're just kind of piecing together. Yeah, the gable end here. It's really absolutely fantastic. Kind of original-ish feature. When is original, but it's an old feature still here. But of course, this whole site is now partially, actually not the whole site, but it's Shropshire Wildlife Rescue sort of centre, which is pretty nice. You can visit it, and you can see behind me gardens there. But what I'm saying is, it used to actually be, 20 years ago, a kind of Brother Cadfael medieval centre, kind of on the back of the success of the TV programme starring Derek Jacobi in the mid-90s. This whole building, after kind of being run down for quite a lot of years, was used, and you can sort of see the garden still looking quite medievalish the way it was laid out. Yeah, but it's nice to see it still being used. Yeah, the big square tower of Shrewsbury Abbey, the Gothic massive western window added later. I mean, it's huge amount of natural light being let in by that. Yeah, we have shown it before, this southern door, but this was actually Norman, the stonework here, and this would have been here in the days of Brother Cadfael, if he was real. Interesting fact though, several of the names and occupations of the monks in the series are actually from a record book from the Abbey of St. Peter and St. Paul. Some of these include Cadfael, because Cadfael is a Welsh name and it would be pronounced Cadfael. And it just shows the detail and research that Ellis Peters went into to research her wonderful books. Robert, Jerome and Heribert. They were all real characters and real people. I don't know if Cadfael was listed as a crime-fighting monk, although I imagine there was a monk who solved a crime at some point in the medieval period, and maybe even a murder. Who knows? But really, what is real and what's not real? It's just up to you to make that decision. Yeah, and the northern doorway, well, the stone doorway, is again Norman. So this would have been here just like this in the days of Brother Cadfael and any real historical figure who was around in the 1140s or 1130s. The Brother Cadfael TV programme ran from 1994 to 1998. It starred Derek Jacobi, Michael Culver, Julian Firth and Sean Pertwee. Event Horizon, what a movie. The show is highly rated and has an 8.1 rating on IMDb. Viewers may notice that the filming locations, Shrewsbury Abbey, and the street scenes and the riverbank were not actually shot in Shrewsbury, and this was because there were no complete, or in Shrewsbury or in England or Britain in general, was because there was no complete medieval locations left, and this was because of the Henry VIII inspired dissolution of the monasteries in the 16th century, sadly. The series was actually filmed in specially constructed sets behind the studios, TV studios in Fort, Budapest, Hungary. Holywell Street, Holywell of Saint Winifred would have just been up there. We've showed it before. The well and the bones of Saint Winifred, the Virgin Martyr of the 7th century, early Christian Virgin Martyr, would have been the goal of the pilgrims who made their way to Shrewsbury Abbey and brought much money to the Abbey. Large donations, very large donations and small donations all flocked to the Abbey with Saint Winifred's remains. There are three, including the well here in Shrewsbury that is now lost. There are three St Winifred's wells that I can think of. The one in North Wales, where St Winifred was from, and the one in Woolston, Shropshire, where when her bones were on their way to Shrewsbury from North Wales, when they rested there, the monks who were bringing them, a holy well was said to have sprung up miraculously. Although it is thought that there was a holy well to a dedicated to someone before that, though, in the mists of time. Would like to revisit the well, though. So, yeah, hopefully next summer. But, yeah, the Abbey just over here. Yeah, horse fair. Just this way. Just a street. It just snakes around the back and side of the Abbey. Yeah, back in Brother Cadfael's day and the medieval times, this actually would have been not a fairground like we think of it, but it would have been a place of market stalls, exotic things on sale, trinkets and things made by the local populace. So that was like a fair, and I'm sure meats and other things. Just so close to the Abbey, it was almost like another little suburb outside of the town walls. Got some timber frame buildings down here at Horse Fair, obviously from a significant time later than Brother Cadfael. Yeah, opposite the north porch of the Abbey Church, a narrow twisting lane led off the Foregate, opening out into a small grassy space where local children played. Father Adam and later Father Elianoth lived here in a small house. So yeah, so that would have just been just about there, but this is the closest we're going to get to it on a lane. So yeah, the entrance to Horse there. Inns and taverns down here as well, so it was a real kind of hub. Obviously it's all 21st century. Yeah, here just at the north entrance of the Abbey Church, but the church, prior to it being pulled down during the Reformation, was significantly longer, came out a lot further this way. The north side of the church actually came out 120 feet further than it does now. It's been severely truncated since the Reformation, when the church was designated as only for public use, and its monastery status diminished. The winds got up fiercely, just passing through the cemetery at the back of the abbey on the eastern side. It's really nice and very green. It's got many graves and quite a few notable graves. Could spend quite a long time just checking them out, really. One of the Old Hills, I think, is buried here, or memorialised here. And Wilfred Owen, the World War One poet, has got a 20th century memorial. I don't think the area was a graveyard in Brother Cadfael's day, because the Abbey building that we know as of the Abbey now, the Chapel of St Peter and St Paul, was surrounded by buildings, anti-buildings, and the chapel was only a small part of the Abbey's overall footprint. And this is the memorial to Wilfred Owen, who fell in the last days of World War One. I think on a surface level it represents pontoon bridges, because Wilfred Owen was killed at an action near pontoon bridges. Of course, on a more metaphysical level, a bridge is something for crossing over. Again, nothing to do with Brother Cadfael, but just here at Cannock House, just looking through here, there's these little, very narrow gauge sort of railway tracks, along with the old railway signal and the old sign writing. It's almost like a little museum. I'm not sure what was carried on the train tracks though. And the Abbey's stables would have been around here back in the days of Brother Cadfael. Yeah, we're just here on Foregate. Third rate that coming at you. I used to live in that flat. Is it a real phone box? Let's find out. Looks real. Yeah, definitely open for trade. I don't know who uses these days. I'm not generalising about phone boxes, but it's great to see a phone box in operation still. Yeah, just look at the walls here. I'm sure this is cannibalised stone from the Abbey, which is just, as you can see, just there, behind the bus stop. Yeah, the dung cow here on Abbey Foregate, that goes right back. The pub was said to have been built by Roger de Montgomery, the first Earl of Shrewsbury, circa 1085, as a hostel for the highly skilled masons and master builders brought in to supervise the construction of the St Peter and St Paul, later to be known as Shrewsbury Abbey. In the late Tudor period, the pub needed restoration, but English oak was in short supply at this time. But Spanish oak from the Spanish Armada, which had sunk around the coasts of Britain, was available and purchased from Bristol and sailed up the River Severn to restore already at that time the very old pub. When the English Civil War was raging in the 1600s, Prince Rupert chose the dun cow as his billet when he was based in Shrewsbury. One fateful evening, one of the prince's stewards, a certain Sir Richard, was murdered in the inn's kitchen by a Dutch army officer. The Netherlander was immediately court-martialed and found guilty, and he was hung by the neck until dead. Though when he was in the scaffold in the stables of the Dun Cow, he made a short speech. He said, "It is grossly unfair that I, a Dutchman, should be executed for killing only one Englishman." A ghost wearing the uniform of a Dutch cavalry officer of the time has been seen on the premises, the last recording sighting being as recent as 2003. And I've actually got a personal recollection about that. I'll tell you about it. Yeah, Dun Cow. I used to work with a lady whose mum and dad used to have this pub when she was young. She told me it was definitely haunted. She remembers her little brother, when he was under 10, he was, you know, for a little pocket money job, they used to clean up glasses for the mum and dad and tidy up the pub. And they came down once and he was sat talking to someone, having a proper conversation apparently, to an old sort of soldier, he said, the lad did. And he was too young to really know about the Civil War and all history and that type of thing. And he said he was having a conversation with this old soldier and he was certain of it. So, you know, you have an open mind about these things. Yeah, these are new builds over the last sort of 5 years or so. I think they've done a nice job. They'll establish nicely. That's my belief. I might be wrong though. Yeah, one of my nans actually spent her last days in that very nursing home. Well, residential home, it wasn't a nursing home. The brick, still going. One of Shrewsbury's brick pubs. Yeah, then next to the brick, funeral director. Because apparently mimes are the hardest people to write funeral eulogies for, because there are no words to sum them up. I love this building. It looks straight out of Hogwarts or something like that. This building was the old bush up to about 10 years ago. I think I went in it about once in my whole life. The bush being a public house, of course. Yeah, so this would have led down to the mill, another road down to it, so it would have been all around the back of Abbey Foregate. But of course there's nothing really interesting down there today, and it's a private road. Buildings don't look terribly inviting. And there is no wharf buildings down there either now. It's just a name and a remembrance of its former use. Look at that, there are people at the top of the column. First time I've seen that for years and years. And I really would like to do that on this channel at some point. Yeah, good for them. Which came first, the Bell or Bell Lane? You can see that there. This was the Lion. No, this was the Lord Hill Hotel. Now it's all residential, high-end apartments, like so many things today. I don't know whether it's good or bad. At least they're getting used though. Yeah, so we're on Wenlock Road now, and back in the medieval times, especially in Brother Cadfael's day in the 1130s and 1140s, this would be out of Shrewsbury now. The last sort of traces of it would be the Leper hospital that we're approaching, and this area would have been on the edges of the long forest. So as you leave Shrewsbury on Wenlock Road, you'd have been going into the wood and at the mercy of bandits, wolves, wild boar and all the other scary things in the woods in those days, and for quite a number of years after the medieval times as well. Yeah, with St Giles's Church behind us, you can just see the Shropshire Hills peeking through the house, breaking the skyline there. But none of these houses, and possibly these trees, wouldn't have been here in the medieval times. So this church would have had a fine view over the hills which you don't really get today. Most monks stayed within the Abbey enclave, but Brother Cadfael, being a medic, was allowed to leave to minister to the sick in the town and make journeys even further abroad, as we see in his many adventures. Part of Brother Cadfael's routine was every third week or so he would walk to the Leper hospital at St Giles to replenish the stocks of medicines. The houses along Abbey Foregate would soon thin out, and he would walk through fields and into the woods, as we said, just on the fringes of the long wood. In Brother Cadfael's time, St Giles was one of 3 hospitals in Shrewsbury. Of the old Leper hospital, only the church is what remains now. Yeah, this wall and the porch is all that remains from the days of the Leper hospital in Cadfael, and it's been incorporated into the larger 19th century church which grew up as the population in this suburb of Shrewsbury grew up around it. I don't know if this chap is originally from the Christmas Nativity play, but it was a really in-depth one and a well financed one and well produced one. But yeah, nice place for him here in the garden though, or her. One of these 2 ancient stones I'm going to show you was used as a pass basin in times of plague, and of course with this being a leper hospital, it was virtually always in a time of plague. Money was placed by people selling goods to the leper hospital, you know, food and other essentials, and the money, the coins that were given to the traders were placed in a pool of vinegar on one of these pieces of stone, and then the traders felt that the money was cleaned and they were happy to take it away. It's definitely one of these, but I think it was the most likely in my mind. If you know any different, tell us in the comments. Yeah, so the porch is original to the days of the Leper hospital. So that's it for today's third-rate content. Our Brother Cadfael and the medieval mystery monk, and our tour of a part of Shrewsbury themed around Brother Cadfael and the medieval times. Obviously, we've looked at a bit of other stuff on the way, but we'll do more of the Brother Cadfael in future. So thanks for watching to the end. Hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, and you probably enjoyed up to a point if you're still watching now, if you did enjoy, how about thinking leaving a like or subscribing to the channel? Every subscription helps at this time, and leaving a comment. I do love a good comment, and I reply back where applicable. So if I don't see you soon, I'll see you 3 times as soon. Third rate content signing out. See you soon. Bye bye.